Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move over to here because see how far this sauce is reduced down now? You probably only got about a cup, and those flavors have really intensified in there right now. So here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and add some cream. Looking at probably 2 cups of cream. Put that there. Going to get a little whisk. Going to whisk it up. And now we're just going to go ahead and let this sit. We got our water boiling over here for our ravioli, and now we're going to go make ravioli. So this is just going to reduce down, and I'm going to check it in a minute because you don't want it to boil really hard. With cream sauces, you just barely want it to boil. So I'm going to let that sit. We're going to go over here, and we're going to go ahead and finish the Duxelle now. The Duxelle, see how firm it's getting because it's sat? Now this was the last ingredient that goes into that Duxelle. It's a little Worcestershire sauce. And you're only talking maybe about 3 tablespoons because you don't want it to be too strong, too pungent. So you're going to mix this up. And you're asking me why I didn't do it in the Robot Coupe. Well, again, I wanted to control the fluid that was in there because you don't want it runny. So that's a done deal. Good to go with that. Now we're going to bring our pasta over here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sheets of pasta. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to open this up, get rid of this. We'll wipe this counter down. Make sure there's no moisture on it because it's going to stick. It's going to stick badly if you have any moisture at all. Now we're just going to throw some flour out there. We're just dusting the counter off right now. That's all we're doing is just dusting this thing off. Flour won't stick, a little bit on top. You see how it wants to start coming back up when you touch it? That's what you're looking for. I really watch the sauce. So check it out. The sauce is really boiling now, and that cream, you got to just turn it down a little bit and let it reduce on a very slow boil. This is a little bit too hard of a boil right now. So we're going to go ahead and whip it. And you got to watch this sauce. Otherwise, it's going to break. And that's the only bad thing when you deal with cream sauces. So let's turn this puppy down. See the small bubbles in the center of the pan? That's exactly what you're looking for. Now you can walk away and not have to worry about it breaking on you, okay? So we're going to go back to the pasta. We're going to roll it out, okay? We have this. We're going to try to square it up just a little bit. It's going to be easier. We're going to take our big rolling pin and we're going to go ahead and just roll it out. Now this is going to have to get paper thin, so I'm just trying to keep it square for right now, or into a rectangle area, because I'm going to start putting some pressure on it now so I can keep it squared off. And you're seeing, usually you see pastry chefs, you know, they're rolling it back and forth like that. Well, you can't really do that with this, okay? Because I'm using this big stick that I have. And I'm just trying to keep this thing even in corners. And every now and then you just want to go ahead and pick it up. Fold it over a little bit, grab a little flour, throw it back up underneath there. Now remember, this is the organic flour that I'm using, okay? You get rid of this big mama, and you go to this little guy right here. Because see how it's tapered? Now you can go ahead and really get it as thin as you want, and you can really work on squaring it up. Because you don't want to waste any of this. You've worked hard. You're just going to go ahead and just keep rolling it. See, if you make a mistake like this right here, you just pinch it back together a little bit and just go ahead and roll it. Now, believe it or not, this sounds crazy, but look it. I got a 2-foot by 2-inch measuring device. And what I'm going to do is just take this. That's all I want to do is just put an edge on it like that. I'm going to take this and just put it over here. I'm going to do the same thing over here, because we're just trying to square this thing up. We're going to be careful when we put the Duxelle and the chicken mousse in there. We're going to leave a little bit of space when we go to close it off. And you don't have to be perfect with this. This just kind of gives you a good idea of what you're going to do here. And cut it out. And you're wondering why I'm doing it. Well, your raviolis are going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. Now what I'm going to do is just measure this from top to bottom. I got 21 inches. So what we're going to do is go to 10 and a half, and we're going to mark it right here. And then we're going to go 10 and a half, and we're going to kind of like mark it right there. Take this, put it together on those two marks, and we're just going to go ahead and cut that right in half. You got your marks. You can take your ruler, roll it up on its edge, and you make your mark every 2 inches, just like that. Boom. Look at that. Almost perfect that way. Now you're wondering why I didn't do this to the top. Well, it's because I wanted a nice little line right here so I can see what I'm doing. So when I put my Duxelle in here like this, I can just go ahead and take this and I can just fold it back over the top this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and seal it. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that here in just a second. Now we have our mousse. So we're going to take a little bit of mousse. I've got to leave a little water running. Okay. Just about the size of a marble is what you want in there. Because remember, it's going to expand and then it's going to shrink again. Good amount, an even amount in each one of these things. Now, usually if you got a small ice cream scoop, you can do this. Try to keep it away from the edges as well, all right? Because we're going to run down this side with a little bit of egg wash. Okay, we're going to let this sit just for a second. I'm going to go take a look at the sauce, and we're going to come right back to this. Ooh, the sauce is looking good, guys. I'm going to grab a lemon. We're going to go ahead and just spice this thing up, and we're going to strain it. Then I'll get back to the pasta. Just a little lemon, not a whole lot. Back to the sea salt. Okay. You're doing cream sauces. I'll always say this all the time for a reminder. White pepper. White pepper and cream sauce. Unless you're going to be intentional with the black pepper flakes in your sauce. You must find a balance in a sauce. And the balance is simple. The balance is salt on the tongue, lemon across the top of your tongue for the jowls. They start watering. Pepper in the back of the throat. Tannic, top of your roof of the mouth. And then the spices and herbs, you'll feel them on the top of your tongue towards the back, okay? So remember that. We're going to go ahead and lift this up like this. And we're going to go see if it even fits. We're going to do a test run on it. Test one. Now we're going to go ahead and take a little egg wash. Just run it down the sides like this. I know somebody in Italy is just freaking out right about now. They use water. I use egg wash. We eat heavy food here in the United States. In Europe, they eat a lot lighter foods. So that's why they use the water. I use the egg wash because this thing's going to expand like nothing else. And then it's going to shrink back down the sides. So I don't want the raviolis to start blowing up on the sides. This thing moist. You don't want to go crazy with it. And you want to keep the edges as clean as you can, because if there's anything that you put on top and the edges are not that clean and there's a lump or a clump like that guy right there, then it's never going to seal and that ravioli is going to pop open on you. Okay, so now we got that. Now we're going to go ahead. I just blew it. There's one down. Okay, we're about to the end of these. We're going to just set this up like that. I'm going to take this guy. See, I'm using my scraper because I don't want to rip it or tear it that way. Now I got one more little trick up my sleeve for you. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to cut this ravioli out like that. Okay. See how nice this ravioli comes out when you cut it? See that? That's what you're looking for right there. And I'm patting it down so the sides go down and they stick. What you want to do is take a pan with a little bit of flour on it, and as you cut them, I'm going to throw them up here on this thing. So that way they're not sticking on you. Just keep cutting these things like that. And you're going to come across every now and then it'll stick. So just do yourself a favor. Stick it back on there and just cut it. Scoot it out. This helps seals the sides of it. This is why I try to use a press that way. See like that guy right there? So you can just go right back at it again. Okay, now we're done. And we've got all of our ravioli panned up. Now I'm going to cook all of them. Or if you do want to cook all of them, do it in batches. You can't put all these raviolis in that pot all at one time. So put them in there. You'll be just fine. And in the meanwhile, the sauce is done. And as soon as I drop these guys in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to strain that sauce. See how nice and cocoa brown that sauce came out? Now we're just going to strain it. This sauce, you don't want any kind of spices or herbs really floating around on it. Maybe just a little bit. You don't have to get too crazy with it. I'll put that there. And watch, see how they're starting to come up and float? They'll be done in no time at all. See how these guys are starting to come up now? As soon as the last one gets to the top, we're going to go ahead and we're going to plate this sucker up and we're going to call it dinner. I use a little bit of a deep dish because when you put the ravioli in here, you're going to want to float it a little bit into the sauce. You're not going to just trickle the sauce in there. You want to give it just a little bit of a bath with it. Okay? So we got our plate there. Got a colander right here, ready to go. Move that off to the side. Oh, this is a great sauce right here, you guys. We're going to go over here. We're going to get our garnish out of the refrigerator. And it's just going to be a little sprig of basil. And now we're going to go ahead and get our ravioli. Bring it over because they're all floating now. So gently, gently, gently put them into the colander. Let them sit. And we're going to bring these guys up in just a second. Let's put the sauce in first, okay? Go ahead and put some sauce in there. There we go. And we're just going to move it around a little bit, let it even itself out. Now we take the ravioli, place one there. Place one right there. Right there. Slippy little guys. They're hot too. Whoo, baby, are they hot. Okay. You can go ahead and do 5 of those. And then you can go ahead and just put your sprig of parsley or your basil right there in the middle. Remove that. Take a good look at that. Chicken mousse, mushroom duxelle with a beef cream reduction sauce. Not too bad. Let's get one. Let's get a fork and let's just taste it. Cut it open. Look at that. Oh, that's money there, baby. Good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, try this, and whatever's left over with your ravioli, just go ahead and wrap it up, and you can put it into the freezer for the next day. So, once again, we have another great meal from Culinary 101. Well, that pretty much concludes our show. I want to thank you very much, and I want to just say the same thing, basically what I always tell you, that we're here for the Wounded Warrior Project. What we're doing here with Grubbin with Godfrey, it's a pay-it-forward system. We're just trying to help you learn how to cook, give you good techniques, good recipes. We're just asking for a contribution so we can go ahead and get it to the Wounded Warrior Project. These men and women of the armed services, they need our help. But more important than that is that there's a wife or a husband at home with the children. They need our help too. So enjoy the recipe, enjoy the ravioli. God bless, and I'll see you next time.